Alrighty guys, so it's been a while, but I can finally make a new video for you guys. I'm not in the greatest condition. I have a feeling I'm getting sick from yesterday. We got a lot of snow, and the power went out for about 15 hours, and the temperature in the house dropped, and it was quite cold. And I hope I'm not getting sick from that, so fuck. Anyway, I have a nice score. I got this laptop for free, no strings attached. This was my mother's father's laptop. It's only a few months old. It's a Toshiba L55T5271. It's a touchscreen with an Intel Core i3 4025U processor, 1.9 gigahertz, no turbo boost, 15 watt TDP, 6 gigs of RAM. And basically this thing got wet, like really wet. It was sitting next to a fish tank. Fish tank leaked all over this. And they took it to a shop. Shop said it was toast. When I got it, it had been sitting with the water in it for a while. Thankfully, Toshiba was smart when they built this. This is not the best built laptop. In fact, this is probably, they cheaped out in a lot of places, and it makes this thing feel incredibly flimsy and fragile. But what they did do is, on the side of the motherboard that faces the keyboard, technically the top of it on this particular one, they put a layer of plastic, like this really thin, clear film of plastic over the motherboard. That saved this motherboard from corrosion damage and getting water on it. So all the water did was it took out the hard drive that was sitting down in the bottom of the tray. It ruined the logic board on the hard drive. And if you give me a second, I can go get that hard drive. 1 minute. Alright, so this right here is the hard drive. As you can see, Toshiba used their own drive, of course. And it's a 1 terabyte drive. But this is what the water did to it. And I don't know if my camera will pick it up. But basically, the circuit board sat in the water for so long, it bubbled up, corroded, and this is after being cleaned, by the way. You can still see traces of corrosion around the screw holes. I have a feeling the entire bottom of this was buried in water for a couple of days, because when it got wet, they didn't know, and they just left it sitting there. And I have a feeling the entire underside of this logic board is just full of corrosion. But this drive won't power up. It isn't recognized. I was trying to test it in a few different laptops, and no matter how much I clean it, it is dead. So what's in here right now is a 60 gig Fujitsu drive out of an Xbox 360. That is its placeholder drive. I'm hopefully ordering a Western Digital Black 7200 RPM 64 meg cache laptop hard drive for this thing to go in here for like $50 or something. So that'll give me a good balance between speed and capacity. I was looking at SSHDs from Seagate and just straight up SSDs, but for what I need at least 500 gigs. Because even though this is only a Core i3, it can still do video editing. It performs quite well, actually. So let's go ahead and open this up while I discuss another one of this thing's faults. Being a $400 laptop, it's like $399.99, brand spanking new, off Newegg. I'm I mean, at first glance, it looks great. It's got a great keyboard. There is, you know, it does flex a bit, but as far as tactile feel, the keyboard feels great. It's a full-size keyboard, mostly, with the exception of the arrow keys. It's got a nice wide screen with a webcam, and it's touchscreen. Touchscreen works great. But this laptop, this particular model, all of the reviews, literally all of them, this laptop got a 2-star overall rating because of the hinges for the screen. There is about a 75% chance that the hinges, if you order one of these on your laptop, will be defective. What I mean by defective is, watch this. Now, the screen was already kind of floppy. It's not the most solid thing. But if you close it, notice how this one sticks up and this one really doesn't. You can literally push the screen and the hinge down on this side. And the reason for that is the way Toshiba designed it. This is going to take some taking apart to show you guys, but let's go ahead and do that real quick before we power this up. Okay, so here's the inside of the laptop. Now, as far as ease of access goes, this is by far one of the easiest laptops I've ever had to work on. You just remove all the screws out of the bottom panel, and it just pretty much comes straight off. And you have access to everything: CPU, RAM, hard drive, optical drive, and everything is really easy plug-and-play stuff. But to fully show you where it is they screwed up, I'd have to take apart the entire laptop, including the top end. And I'm not doing that because I'm lazy. But down here is where the screen hinges kind of screw into their base mount, and I think they thread through. There's also some on the top. I don't remember. I was watching a video on how bad this was, but basically the screen hinges thread into the plastic base and nothing is reinforced. Absolutely nothing. Honestly, I've been hearing that these screws, I haven't tested it myself, but I've been hearing that even the screws themselves are just painted plastic, that they're not real metal. They feel like real metal to me, but I could be wrong. But so basically what happens is, down in there, this, over time, something down in there works loose, and it causes the screen hinges to be able to flex, because the plastic base, look at that, I can move the entire plastic base that is mounted to. Nothing's reinforced. Absolutely nothing. So when that breaks, your screen pretty much can fall out if it wanted to. And Toshiba said that they won't fix it under warranty. This was not in my case. I haven't contacted Toshiba because I'm not the original owner anymore, nor do I have any of the paperwork. But they said they won't fix this under warranty because no plastic parts are covered. That is some incredibly sleazy shit, considering the entire laptop's plastic. There's not a bit of metal on the damn thing. It's all plastic. So it's like, oh hey, you have a warranty, but basically your entire laptop isn't covered. Sorry. I mean, unless the motherboard fails, that's about it. And even then, I have a feeling they give us a hard time. But yeah, the hinges, the hinge mounts, nothing is reinforced. It's all made of plastic. There's no solid mount for it. And over time, the plastic weakens, cracks, and where these screw into just kind of breaks off, and causes the hinges to flop a bit. Now, they're still tight. You know, like, it holds the screen, they're still tight, whatnot. So I think as long as I'm careful with it, I won't have a problem for a while. As far as the corrosion and whatnot from the water damage, the only problem I had was it took out the control board for the status LEDs. They don't work anymore. I was having issues. Hair in my mouth. I was having issues with the machine posting and whatnot, and I didn't notice it at first. So I started poking around, and I found this. So you could see the corrosion on that secondary board, just that little one, and up into the corner there. You could tell just how much water was down here by the hard drive, and I'm really surprised that the bottom of the hard drive was all that was damaged. This board was fine, and then that has corrosion damage. So all I did was remove the cable that goes to it for the status LEDs, and everything's peachy. I don't really need them, and everything works fine. So yeah. But let me get this put back together, and we'll power it up. So be right back. Alright, we got the thing put back together, so let's go ahead and give it a power up. Yes. This thing must lack a CMOS battery, because every time you shut it down and remove the battery, it loses the time and date, and it's a brand new laptop, and I haven't found a CMOS battery on the thing. But since we're in the BIOS, as you can see, it's an Intel Core i3 4025U 1.9 gigahertz. We have the Fujitsu 60 gig Xbox 360 hard drive in there. It's got a TSS Corp CD, DVD, writable, 6 gigs of RAM, running a dual channel, BIOS version of 1.8, and it currently thinks it's freaking 2014. I hate that. Like, really, come on. When did we stop putting frickin' CMOS batteries in our laptops? I know this thing's cheap, but Jesus. And even if it did have a CMOS battery, the CMOS battery shouldn't be dead, because this laptop's like 2 months old. What is today? I don't know what the date is. Let's go with 2016 for now, and I'll set the rest later. Go to the advanced. But it's got the virtualization technology. You can have it sleep and charge, USB power and sleep mode, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and boot into Windows. This laptop, if it doesn't fall apart anytime soon, is going to be my college replacement laptop. After I get the 500 gig hard drive in there and whatnot, it should be enough with the Core i3 for me at college. And the touchscreen, I'm going to have to get a couple of different things. But as you could also tell with me in the picture here, it is a really reflective display. That's another one of the areas. You can tell they kind of cheaped out, but it's what you get. It's a $400 laptop. Let's see if we can turn up the screen brightness here. I don't think I can do it with one hand. That's volume. Where is the screen brightness key? Okay, that's brightness all the way up. On battery, at least. And battery's got a full charge. But let's see, what can we do here as far as testing things? As you can see, all of these games actually run on this machine. I haven't tested Battlefield 4 yet, and I haven't tested. That's the only one I haven't tested, is Battlefield 4. So let's kick this thing over into high performance mode. This is brightness is 90%. Power options. And So additional plan settings. I want high performance, baby. Alright, so I don't have a mouse hooked up, but what we can do, even though we're on battery. Oh, I haven't even demonstrated the touchscreen yet, but as you can see, it does work, and it's quite accurate, and that is what? It opened up documents. That was interesting. So it's launching that, or at least it should be. I hear hard drive activity. And there it goes. It'd be interesting. I haven't ran anything on battery mode before. The battery lasts almost 6 hours on a full charge. I used it from 1:30 to 6:30 p.m. When the power went out, and I still had about a 37 to 39% charge. So as you can see, this is what it got before. It got a score of 189 plugged in. It's 2 cores, 4 threads, 1.9 gigahertz. It's running Windows 10. So let's go ahead and run the CPU benchmark again. You can definitely tell which ones are the hyperthreaded cores and which ones are the actual cores. I have a feeling it is going a bit slower on battery mode, but we'll find out. Probably going to pause this until this gets done. So, I'll be right back. So, on battery, we got a score of 187. So, just about matched the score of the plugged in high performance mode. And in doing so, we drained 5% of the battery under 100% load. I noticed this battery, once it gets to about 95% to 92%, then the usage really slows down and it hangs on for a long time. Keeping in mind, I have it set to high performance mode, running at max CPU clocks with max screen brightness, and we just put it under load. And if you can see this here, this right here is the battery. It's not a very big battery at all. It's smaller than the one that was in the Asus laptop I used to have. So I think I'm gonna go get a mouse and test out a game real quick, or at least try to. As far as, oops, I didn't want to do that. But as far as the graphics benchmark, it got an average 24 FPS in the Cinebench graphics benchmark. In Crysis 1, it runs at an average of about 35 to 45 FPS on low settings. And it runs Dragon Age Inquisition in Crysis 3. It runs Crysis 3 between 20 and sometimes 30 FPS. But the fact that it even runs on an ultra low voltage i3 is kind of amazing. I give credit to Intel's integrated graphics now. But one thing I can do is if it's installed to the hard drive and not the external drive, we can fire it up. But I had a lot of these games installed on my 500 gig external because there's only a 60 gig hard drive in it right now. And I'm not sure which one I installed Tomb Raider to. See what it does. I think Steam's got open. Oh, there goes Steam. It's 60 gig drive. Since it's out of 360, it really isn't the fastest. Oh, fuck off. It is installed. It's just not on that drive, I swear. So yeah, I installed most of the games to the external hard drive, which I don't have hooked up right now. But there will be more videos to come with this laptop later. It's about 1 o'clock, and I have to babysit around then. So I'm going to call this video quits and talk to you guys later.